For me, I think the biggest thing that football taught me was how to overcome adversity.
At some point in your life, you're going to have some tough times.
You have to have that next play mentality.
That cohesiveness and that working together, that's really something special that you can't get in a lot of other areas.
When you practice that and you live that in other phases of your life, it becomes second nature because all you know how to do is fight.
It's not an easy game. If it were easy, everyone would do it.
You start to appreciate the smaller contributions that people make. You don't just look at the big one because you knew it took 6 or 7 other guys who are unsung.
And you know, you can't take shortcuts and be successful.
Doing what they do to make it possible for the guy getting the press clippings or whatever it might be.
In this game, whether it's as a coach or a player.
So I would certainly say that you know, you definitely got a very quick lesson in how to overcome adversity playing football.
And don't forget to check out and order your copy of our latest book, Stiff Arming Football Myths. You can find this available in both paperback and PDF form on our website at footballgameplan.com/books. This is, in my opinion, the biggest question mark on this offense. Can the Rams win with Nick Foles? In all honesty, I think they can. Foles comes in with his issues, and I get that, but so far in the 2 seasons, he's been available, which is key. I think Foles can come in, play efficient football, and make plays outside of the framework of the play if need be. Case Keenum and Austin Davis will compete with rookie third-round pick Sean Mannion out of Oregon State for the backup job. I know they drafted Mannion this year, but quite frankly, he's not much of an upgrade over both Keenum and Davis. The Rams made a splash in the draft by selecting Todd Gurley in the first round out of Georgia, and Gurley is a legit game breaker that possesses both power and speed. The Rams have the luxury of bringing him along slowly as he recovers from an ACL injury because the guy they drafted last year in the 3rd round, Trey Mason, is dynamic in his own right, and Mason led the team in rushing last year despite only starting 9 games. I didn't think the Rams needed Gurley, but now that they have him in the fold, it gives St. Louis an excellent 1-2 punch in the backfield. I'd also look for Benny Cunningham and Trey Watts to stay on as 3rd and 4th options in this offense. This is a really good backfield for the Rams. The Rams have a pretty good receiving core that's both talented and young. Kenny Britt is the oldest of the group, and he's 26 years old. And the trio of Britt, Tavon Austin, and Stedman Bailey has the potential to be a problem for opposing defenses if they're able to get consistent play from the quarterback position. Now, both Brian Quick and Chris Givens strengthen this unit as a whole, and Quick was starting to come on strong prior to the injury last season. The Rams are also pretty strong at tight end as well. Jared Cook finished 2nd on the team in receiving with 52 receptions for 634 yards and 3 touchdowns. Second tight end Lance Kendricks actually led both receivers and tight ends with 5 touchdown receptions, and that was a big reason why he was re-signed. People thought I was nuts when I mentioned Alex Baer last year as an undrafted free agent to keep an eye on. Not only did he make the team, he should see more playing time this year. And Corey Harkey is a guy that's an integral part to the Rams offense. He's a really good blocker, and overall, if Foles does his job, this unit could really stand out from under the shadows because the talent is definitely here. St. Louis invested heavily in this group the last 2 seasons, and it's time for these guys to pay dividends. And I really do think they found the right combination of players along the offensive line. Left tackle Greg Robinson and left guard Roger Saffold, I believe, are cornerstone players, and I've always been a fan of Barrett Jones's game and versatility. Health is his biggest concern. That's something he's going to have to overcome. Now, the Rams are also going with 2 rookies along the right side of that offensive line and guard Jamon Brown out of Louisville and Rob Havenstein out of Wisconsin. And I like both guys as prospects in the draft process this year. And the Rams also grabbed Isaiah Battle in the supplemental draft out of Clemson, and he'll provide depth along with fellow rookie Andrew Donald, Brandon Washington, center Demetrius Rainey, and Garrett Reynolds. I think overall they'll be just fine up front.
I love football. I cannot get enough of football. I watch it on every level.
The emotional release. You know, whether it's an exciting play that gets you all jacked up and juiced, or whether it's the fact that you're able to pour everything you have. Whatever frustration you had that week, you can put into that first kickoff coverage, that first block that you have, whatever it might be.
And I couldn't think of anything better to do to fill that void that you have as a football player than to get into coaching.
You get a chance to release a lot of emotion that you otherwise have no place to release. There's nothing else like that.
Again, the relationships you build and the people you're around, and watching the guys compete, not just on the football field, but in life after they get done playing. It's just an amazing game.
This is probably the deepest and most talented defensive line in the NFL. The Rams' starting four of Chris Long, Robert Quinn, Aaron Donald, and Michael Brockers are capable of excelling versus the run and getting after the quarterback. Adding defensive tackle Nick Fairley from the Detroit Lions via free agency only strengthens this unit and its rotation. St. Louis also gets quality minutes from reserves William Hayes and Eugene Sims. And there's still some youthful, developmental guys waiting in the wings like Ethan Westbrooks and rookie Martin Affetti out of Memphis. The depth, talent, and rotation here should make this defensive line amongst the top in the league once again this season. Good athleticism and production at the second level for St. Louis. Both outside linebacker Alec Ogletree and Mike backer James Laurinaitis combined for 337 stops last year. And bolstering the unit this season will be outside linebacker Akeem Ayers, who comes over from the New England Patriots. And Ayers put together a strong 9 games for New England, being a factor on both ends of defense. Depth is a little thin here outside of Jolan Dunbar at outside backer. They did draft Bryce Hager out of Baylor, but keep an eye on undrafted free agent Cameron Lynch out of Syracuse. Saw him live last year versus Boston College, and I think he has a chance to stick with St. Louis. The Rams lose E.J. Gaines for the season, but in my opinion, this is still a solid group of defensive backs. At corner, Janoris Jenkins and Trumaine Johnson are both aggressive guys with a penchant for making plays. Look for second-year man LaMarcus Joyner to be even more involved in the defense this season. Joyner has tremendous football IQ and instincts. Both Brandon McGee and Marcus Roberson provide depth and special teams help, and I would keep an eye on undrafted free agent Emoan Claiborne out of Northwestern State. I think with his press skills and his instincts, he'll have a chance to stick. Excited to see the growth of third-year safety TJ McDonald. I think this year may be the breakout season for him. Rodney McLeod is probably the most consistent player on the back end, and the Rams traded for former first-round pick Mark Barron, who gives them depth at strong safety, along with Mo Alexander, who I think is a very underrated player in need of an opportunity. The Rams are strong in the special teams department. Both kicker Greg Zuerlein and punter Johnny Hecker are arguably the best at their position. They consistently keep the Rams in the ball game, which is a great thing to have for your football team. Good return game here as well with Tavon Austin and Benny Cunningham handling those roles. And they're a stout from a coverage perspective, so there's no issues at all here for St. Louis. I have the Rams finishing second in the NFC West. They'll be able to run the football, play great defense and special teams, and I also think Nick Foles, along with these receivers, will give them just enough to finally get over the hump and be in the thick of the playoff race. And I also want to give a huge shout out to St. Louis Ram fan forums for always showing football game plan support.